Good evening, good evening, good evening, my brothers and sisters. How you doing this beautiful evening? I hope that you all are doing well. Where I'm at, I'm in the state of Georgia, and you heard that song. It's a rainy night in Georgia. It's a rainy night here in Georgia where I'm at. But nevertheless, my brother and sister, come on into the dinner table, sit down, and make room for any guests that may come in to want to get some of this good food for the soul. I hope that you, brother and sister, had a good day today. And now we're about to get into our dinner at the dinner table tonight. If this is your first time at the dinner table, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationships from a spiritual point of view. When I say spiritual, you can go to the book of Genesis, and when you go to the book of Genesis, you will clearly see how God established a unique relationship with the man Adam. Secondly, he established a unique relationship with the woman Eve. And thirdly, God represented the woman to the man after taking out the rib of the man and fashioning the woman in the likeness of the man. And he presented the woman back to the man. That's a position that I come from. Now, if you have another position about a relationship, you can do whatever you choose to do. But if you sit at the dinner table, I'm letting you know right from the beginning that I support the position that God created a relationship between that of a man and a woman. Okay. Now, if this is your first time at the dinner table, I hope that you enjoy the meal that we're about to serve up. And by the way, like I say, it's a stormy night here in Georgia. It's a rainy night in Georgia. So, hopefully you can bear that little rumble on the outside. Okay. But anyway, I would like to tell you this, my brothers and sisters. I'm on two different platforms. I'm on the book and I'm on the tube. Those of you on the tube, I may make a comment to those on the book. You may not see their names or comment, but I will call their names and comment every now and then. And then those of you that are on the book, you may not see those that are on the tube, but I will call their name and comment every now and then. Okay. So since that is established, let's go into let's sit down at the dinner table and we're going to look at the menu and what's on the menu for tonight. The meal for tonight, that good food for the soul, is do you really meet the real man or woman on a date? This is what we're going to talk about tonight, okay? Do you really meet the real man or real woman on a date? My brother and sister, when you go out on a date, I'm talking to you single brothers and you single sister, when you go out on a date, have you asked yourself the question, why am I going? Have you asked yourself that question, why am I going? Also, have you asked yourself the question, what are your expectations on the date? And do you have an end goal in mind? Do you have a short term, midterm, or long term goal in mind? You need to have some type of goal in mind when you're going out on a date. How you doing, Sister Flo Hardmore? Welcome to the dinner table. But let me tell you this, my brother and sister. I always say when it comes to dating, I say date, and when you date, date with a long term purpose in mind. Don't go dating just to have fun. Like I always say, you can have fun while you date, but the reason why you're going on a date is to get an understanding of that person that you may enter into a covenant relationship with. How you doing, Sister Marcia? Welcome to the dinner table. Sister Margie said, I think you cross paths and then you go on a date. Amen, sister. That's a strong possibility. But let me tell you this, my brother and sister. A lot of time, a man and a woman, when they go on a date, it's still thundering out there. When you go on a date, a lot of men and women, when they go on a date, most men and most women, when they go on a date, it's like it's like a microwave thing. What do I mean by microwave? A lot of men and a lot of women, this is what they do. They want something instant. When dating, my brother and sister, it's not like a microwave thing where you just pop some in. You need to put it on top of that stove and get that good deep cooking, or put it in the oven so you can get some of that real good flavor. You don't want everything microwave, and especially when it comes to a relationship. How you doing, Sister Renee? Welcome to the dinner table. As it is written, this is the appetizer. As it is written in Psalms 119, 133, Psalms 119, 133, Psalms 119, 33. King David was motivated and he was inspired to write this. Direct my footsteps according to your word. Let no sin rule over me. This is what King David said. It was his prayer. Direct my footsteps according to your word. Let no sin rule over me. And this goes for life in general, but we're talking about relationship. How you doing, Sister Cynthia Palm? Welcome to the dinner table. Now, you need direction, my single brother and sister, when it comes to everything in life, like I do, but we're condensing it down to a relationship. You need your feet, your footsteps directed. Now, when you go out on a date, my brothers and sisters, again, have you asked yourself the question, why are you going? Have you asked yourself the question, what are your expectations? Have you asked yourself the question, what are my end goals? You need to ask yourself these questions when you go out on a date. Now, there is a word that I want you brothers and sisters to pay attention to. There's a word, okay? And what is this word? The word that I want you all to focus on is infatuation. That key word, infatuation. And when you look in the dictionary, the word infatuation is defined as a feeling of foolish or obsessively strong love for, admiration for, or interest in someone or something. Strong, unreasoned attachment. Now, this is very critical, my brother. So a lot of times, I know you want things to happen. You know, I know you want things to happen, but a lot of time, my brother and sister, you got to understand this thing called infatuation. Because yeah, you're excited, you're going out on a date and everything, brother and sister, you're excited, but it's something that you need to be aware of. It is infatuation. My brother and sister, have you ever been on a date and that person might say something on the first date like, I'm in love with you. How you doing, Sister Tierra Mo? Welcome to the dinner table. People about that, the second time they talk to you, I'm in love with you. You know, some people say stuff like that, but you got to get past that infatuation thing because, brother and sister, let me tell you this. On a date, you should consider doing more listening than talking. Now, you do engage on a conversation on the date, but you should listen more than you talk. Now, why do I say this to you, my brother and sister? The reason why I'm making this statement is because most men and most women wear masks. That's true, my brother and sister. Most men and most women wear masks. Or to say it differently, you are meeting that man's or woman representative. Why do I say this? Because most of the time when you're going out on a date, that man's sister or that woman brother, they're going to project to you what he or she wants you to see. That's right. They're going to project to you what they want you to see. That man and woman is more conscious of his or her word and action normally at the early part of relationship. And most men and women that you're going to meet, my brother and sister, they are skilled. What do I mean by skilled? They probably have been in more than one relationship. So they got skills, they have knowledge, and you have to understand these factors, my brother and sister. Now, what do I mean by most men and women wear masks? A mask shows you, my brother, a mask shows you, my sister, the external identity of a person. That's all a mask does. It shows you the external identity of the person. But what it does not show is the inward self. So you, brother and sister, you're going to have to go beyond what you see with your naked eyes. You got to get out of the physical when you're meeting a man or a woman. This is where the Lord's Spirit come in, my brother and sister. Therefore, do not get overly excited, my brothers, Don't get overly excited, my sister, because you're going through this phase called infatuation. So let's talk. Let's really talk about meeting the right man and the right woman. Now, most men, brothers, most women, sisters, now I'm finna flip this around. Most women, brother, and most men, sisters, when they come to you, most of them are looking, they are wearing a mask. They trying to hide their true identity. They want to be on point. That's why I tell you, my brother, that you have to do more listening than talking. But you do engage now in the conversation. You do engage now, but you need to listen more. Not hear, you need to listen. And while you listening, I got to bring this back into the equation, my brother and sister. When you have to bring you, if you are a Christian, you already have God in you. You have God in you. So it's you, brother, and that woman in God at wherever y'all at. Sister, if you have the spirit of God, it's you, God, and that person. Now, the person that you're dating just looking at you, brother. That woman just looking at you, brother. Sister, that man just looking at you, but what they don't see is God. But you are aware that God is in you. So when God is in you, that's why I always say, my brother and sister, say a prayer. You see, while you and that person is conversing, like if you have dinner or something like that, while you conversing, the Lord is conversing with you. While you listen to that person, you can also be conversating with God at the same time. So it's actually three people there. It's you, brother, and that woman, and God, because God is in you, brother. And sister, is you, God, and that man. But you are more aware of it than that other party. So while this man talking to you, sister, or brother, while this woman talking to you, guess who else talking to you? God is talking to you. Why is God talking to you? You need to ask that question. Now, remember these words, my brother and sister, from the Lord. Because most men and women that come into the relationship, they looking for a table. What do I mean by a table? Have you ever heard of this phrase before? A lot of men be saying, what does she bring to the table? A lot of women say, what does he bring to the table? So everybody want to know who bringing what to the table. Most people that you listen to, my brother and sister, that say, what do you bring for the table? These people are takers. They're takers because they're looking for what you bringing to the table. What about what they're bringing to the table? They rarely talk about what they bring to the table. And most of these people are takers. And you got to understand a taker, my brother. You got to understand a taker, my sister, because Jesus said himself, Jesus is not about taking. Jesus was a giver. So if Jesus was a giver, in Acts 20, 35, Acts 20, 35, Acts 20, 35, it is written, we should remember the words that the Lord Jesus said. Giving gifts is more satisfying than receiving them. Listen to what Jesus said through the book, and it was talked about in the book of Acts 20, 35 again. The words of the Lord Jesus. This is what Jesus said. Giving gifts is more satisfying than receiving them. You see, Jesus had a giving mentality. If you know that when Jesus was on earth, when you read about him and hear about him, Jesus was a genuine giver. So, brother and sister, you're a Christian, you're spiritually, you are a giver. So the man and woman that's in front of you, he or she must show giving qualities. You understand? They must be a giver. How you doing, Sister Tierra Mo? When you're in the physical only thing, you're doing is being a part of it is a masquerade ball. They show you a character. That's right. It's a big masquerade. Thank you, Sister Mo. It's a big masquerade part because a lot of men and a lot of women they continue to wear masks, my brother and sister. Now, a mask is a cover. Now, this is why I'm telling you, you need to utilize the Lord discernment, because when you have the Spirit of God, the activation or the discernment going to kick in. And you know what the Lord going to do? He's going to illuminate that man or that woman. You know why he's going to illuminate that man or woman that's in front of you? Because you can't read the woman's heart, brother. You don't know where she's coming from. You think you know, but you really don't know, because you can't read her heart. And the same thing, sister, that man in front of you, you don't know where he's actually coming from, because you can't read his heart. But guess who can read the heart of a man or woman? That's the Lord. So the Spirit of the Lord, his discernment will open that man and woman up. That's why you have to listen. Because you see, words have the power of life and death. Every word that comes out of a man's mouth or a woman's mouth generate or giving birth through the thoughts, the mind, and the heart. So whatever words are generated on the lips of a man or woman, it comes from the heart. And that's what you got to understand. So even though it comes from the heart, a man or woman can try to slip in a deception. They want you to believe the mask what they have on. And you notice this, my brother. So let me give you a little snap of my life in the past. Now, you're looking at a brother that before I got married, I have done plenty of dating. My brother and sister, I can't even count how many times I went on a date with different women. It's been a whole bunch of it. I'm not going to even try to count. I know I'm not no Denzel Washington, nothing like that, but I have been on a date with women. And when I have went on a date with women, most of the women that I have dated, if you look at it from an exterior standpoint, most of these sisters were beautiful women to look upon. From a physical standpoint, they were beautiful to look at. But it had to go beyond the beauty, how they look. I had to listen. I had to listen to what they were saying and match up the action, the word and the action. I had to get their words, and put it on this side of the scale. Then I had to put the action on this side of the scale. And some of you brothers and sisters had to do the same thing. You sister, you had to get that man's word and put it on this side of the scale, and his action on this side of the scale. And a lot of you brothers, you had to do the same thing when you were listening to these women. You had to put the action on this side of the scale and the words on this side of the scale, and see, does it match up? You see, the thing about word and action, they have to balance. And last night I gave you all an example of a tree. An apple tree does not grow bananas on it. If you see an apple tree and one banana on it, it's something wrong with it. Or on the flip side, you see a banana tree and you see an apple growing on it, something wrong with that tree. It's unusual. It doesn't make sense. And that's how a lot of men and women are. They are a tree. Like I'm telling you, my brother and sister, when you are dating someone, visualize that man or woman as a tree. In your mind, just visualize that man or woman as a tree. You say to yourself, what type of tree is this? Why he or she sitting there, say, what type of tree is this? Now you want to know how you know, because you see, that man or woman, they got a seed in them. And what in the seed going to germinate, and they're going to produce fruit through the vine, the sap. Okay, so the fruit's going to show. And while that man and woman is talking and the behavior and stuff, the behavior, because when it comes to communication, my brother and sister, communication, I always say this, and I'm not the author of this, communication is about the verbal and the non-verbal. So the verbal are the words that come out of the mouth. And the nonverbal is the behavior. So that's why when you are conversating with someone, it's best to have that person in front of you, my brother and sister. And it's best to look into I had a little technical difficulties, my brothers and sisters. But I'm back. Like I said, this storm came in. I'm sorry about that little technical difficulty. How you doing, mother? Welcome to the dinner table. But I'm here. I'm glad that you all stuck around. But my brother and sister, listen to me carefully. That man or woman that's in front of you, listen. Look him or her in the eye while he or she talking. It's very important that you look a man or woman in the eye, my brother and sister, because you heard the saying that the eyes are the window to the soul. What is the soul? The mind, the will, or emotion. You don't have to stare nobody eye like this, but look that man and that woman in the eyes while he or she is conversating, and you look, and when you're conversating, communicate with that man and woman because they're looking at you too. Okay, so when that man and woman is trying to make his or her appeal to you, the Lord is going to let you know whether he or she is talking a whole bunch of trash or if he or she is sincere. And I'm giving you an estimate. Brother, out of 10 women, sister, out of 10 men, listen to me carefully, out of 10 women, brother, and sister, out of 10 men, and I'm being generous, maybe 2 or 3 are going to be straight up with you. That's right. Only 2 or 3 women, brother, or 2 or 3 men, sister, going to be straight up with you. The rest of them, they're going to come to you. They're going to be deceptive. When you go out on a date, let me tell you the typical thing on dates. We're talking about the American way, right? We're talking about the American way. Let's be truthful. Some of you brothers know what I'm about to say is true, and some of you sisters know what I'm about to say is true. What do most men of the world come into the relation? What do they want when they're going on a date? What do most men want when they go on a date? Some of you sisters know. A lot of you sisters go on a date. What do you think most men want, sister, when they go on a date? Brother, what do you think most women want when they go on a date? I'm gonna help you out. Most men, sisters, out of the 10, I said 2 or 3 may be straight up with you, right? Those other ones, they want something from you. And what is that they want from you? So the folks said action. That's right, action. What type of action, brother and sister? The action that most men want from you, and I'm not trying to be negative or anything, but I'm telling you how it is. Called it's a big game. It's a big game. Most men want sex. Let's put it out there. Most men want sex from you, sisters. Out of the 10 men, that's right, Sister Tierra. Out of the 10 men, 7 just want sex from you. They really don't want to spend their money on you. But there are some men that spend money. But let me tell you this, sister. Let me be very clear with you. Most men want to have sex the first night. Most men have a limit of 3 dates. I'm letting you know that's the average. Most men have an average of dating you maybe 3 times. Some may do it longer because if a man have a stable of women available and they like you a little bit, they may patiently wait until you give in some kind of way. But most men want action now. They want sex now, and that's what. And Sister Flo said, women want money. Amen. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? This storm is something else. I should have waited till a little later. If y'all could still hear me, just give me a thumbs up or something if you could still hear me. Can you still hear me? Those of you that are out there, can you hear me? Let me say yes or something if you can hear me. But anyway, let me tell you this. Most women, brother, out of 10 women, so the folks say it's a thunderstorm there too. Most women want what you got, brother, your assets, mainly money. It's a big game out there. You have men that want sex. You want women that want money. You want men that don't want to invest in the woman, but they want all the sex from the woman. And you have women that want all the money from the man, but not the sex. And that's how it is. It's a big game out there. Most men are takers. Most women are takers. That's why they have masks on. And most men and women, they're skilled at what they do. When you meet most men and women that have a history of dating, my brother and sister, they got skills. Most of the people, they got skill, and that's why you have to be alert. That's why you have to let God illuminate these type of people that's in your presence, because you don't know, you can't read their heart. But what God gonna do, God is gonna cause that man and woman to talk, and they don't know what's going on. God gonna call them to reveal their hearts to you. And when God illuminates them, men and women, it's up to you to make a decision whether or not you're going to go forward with that person or not. And I had talked briefly about this last night. You're going to see warning signs if it's the wrong person. You're going to have a sense of uneasiness. You're going to be a little bit confused. It's not going to settle right. That letting you know, warning, real Will Robinson. You all remember Lost in Space, remember the robot? You said, danger, danger, danger. Warning, Will Robinson. He or she wants something from you. God is revealing his or her heart. So as God is revealing his or her heart, you got to understand, you got to make a decision. And once you make that decision, you got to live with it. Because I always say, if you run into a person and you get deceived, it's on you. If you get bamboozled, it's on you. If you get hurt, it's on you. If you get taken advantage of, it's on you. If you get disrespected, it's on you. If you get destituted, it's on you. Every negative thing. If you are left empty when that man or woman leave you, it's on you, because God showed you early, but you disregarded those warnings. If it's a good person, 1 out of 3 men or 1 out of 3 women, you're going to have a sense of peace. It's not going to be, how shall I say it? It's not going to be infatuation. It's going to be real. Because see, if God bring a man and woman to your life, that man or woman going to have the spirit of God too. So you're going to be able to recognize the spirit of God in that man or woman, brother and sister. You will be able to recognize. You all will be able to recognize one another, because you, brother, are a son or daughter of God, and sister, you are a daughter of God. The man, let me reverse that. Brother, you're a son of God, and sister, you're a daughter of God. So the man and woman in front of you, they are sons and daughter of God. So you will come together in unity, because you got something very much in common. You got Jesus living in you. Jesus is abiding in you. Most men and women, they aren't real. I didn't say all, I said most. And most of the people that you're going to run into in this dating market are worldly thinking men and worldly thinking women. Christian brother and Christian sister, there are only a few Christian men and Christian sisters out there, but they're hid in plain sight. But if you have a desire for a man and woman, God has someone for you. As a matter of fact, God had the person for you before you was born, before you were created, before the man and woman were created. God already had that part of the package. That's why he gave you a desire. When God gave you a desire, sister, for a man, he have a man for you. Brother, when he give you a desire for a woman, he got a woman for you. It ain't no such thing as shortage of men or women when it comes to a Christian man or a Christian woman. From the world standpoint, it look impossible, but with God, all things are possible. The world would say, from the United States statistics, there are more men than women. I mean, there are more women, eligible women than men. That's from a statistical standpoint from the United States government, okay? But from God's point of view, God, God has a person for you. I will remember that. Do you really meet the real man or woman on a date? Majority of the time, you do not. Majority of the time, you do not. But in that initial date, the Lord, if you ask him, ask the Lord to give you wisdom. Before you walk out that door, brother or sister, ask God to give you wisdom. Ask the Lord to help you with your knowledge of what's going on. Ask God for understanding so you can understand what's going on. And a key thing, ask God for discernment so you can see what type of man or what type of woman in front of you. I know this, my brother. I know this, my sister. Most parents, you can have a good mama or a good daddy, but most parents will not tell you what I just told you. Most parents, my brother and sister, they will not tell you to let God speak to your heart about the person that you're going to select. Most parents will say stuff like this. If it's a guy or if it's a woman, what your most parents will say, does he have a job? Can he take care of you? Where does he come from? Does he have education? All this stuff. And you guys, what you will hear, can she cook? Do you think she'll be a good mother to your children? Rarely do parents tell you, brother and sister, does that man have the spirit of God, Son Jesus in them? Most parents don't tell you that. You can have the best mom and dad, but most parents will not tell you about God. See, does that man or woman have God's son, or do they have a relationship with God? Most parents don't do it. They don't. But I'm telling you, right now, if you're single, brother, if you're single, sister, ask God and be patient. And he will show you what's real about that man or woman or what's falsehood. Most of the time, my brother and sister, you're going to have a whole bunch of Satan daughters and men jumping in your face. Most of the time. Because you know what? Satan knows you have a desire too. So Satan going to try to jump in front of your patience. You see, Satan want to give you the microwave relationship. That's what Satan want to do. He want to give you the microwave relationship. How you doing, Sister Cheryl? Welcome to the dinner table. He want to give you something that will satisfy you right now. But what Satan will not show you is his son or daughter, they're going to take you down a deep rabbit hole and you don't know how far you're going to go. That's why you have to have patience with God. Satan going to give you instant grits. That's what Satan going to give you, instant grits. He's not going to give you the kind like God going to give you the grits where you put it in a pot and you stir it up. Satan ain't going to do that. He's going to give you that instant grits and throw it in the microwave. Whereas God going to tell you to turn on the stove, the oven, and put it on top and just stir it up and take your time. That's the difference between God and Satan. God bring you the best. Thank you, Sister Flo. Sister Flo said instant grit, that part. Yes, God bring you the best. He always bring you the best in his time. Satan don't bring you the best. Satan bring you a camouflage. He bring you a wolf in sheep clothing that could be a male or a female. That's how they operate. But anyway, brothers and sisters, I hope that you got something out of this, because tonight is a storm here, and I don't want to be going in and out, but I want you to think about this. Do you really meet the real man or real woman on a date? Majority of the time, you're gonna run into someone that have a mask on. They're gonna conceal who they really are. But the key thing about it, once they start getting comfortable, they think they're getting comfortable around you, but God wants you to see who they really are. Because they're going to make some slip-ups. If you still deal with them, hopefully you don't go too far with them, you're going to see how that man or woman is after the first date. But you can get a good clue on the first date if you ask God to show you. You see, a lot of men and women don't believe that. I didn't know it at one time. Everyone didn't know that at one time, my brother and sister. But God created a woman, brother. Sister, God created a man. So therefore, God knows what's on the inside of a man and woman. God said this a long time ago through Samuel. To Samuel, when he was trying to choose the second king of Israel, which was going to be David. God said, men look at the outside. He look at the heart. How you doing, Jessica? Welcome to the dinner table. God look on the heart. That's why, brother and sister, when it comes to dating, you want God to show you what's in that man or woman's heart. And I'm not talking about that heart that pump blood. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the part of the soul, because the soul is the mind, the will, and the emotions. That's what you need to do. And I always say that, I'm telling you this again, your job, brother, and your job, sister, is to do more listening than talking. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth, meaning you listen twice as much as you talk, but you still engaged in the conversation. While you're engaging in the conversation, look that man or woman in the eye. If you go out, excuse me, if you going out, my brother and sister, on a date, I know you up in age and stuff. Never go to a movie on the first date. Never go to a movie on the first date. Why? Because you can't talk. And if you do decide to go to dinner, you don't brothers, you ain't got to go to a 5-star restaurant knowing you're not going to keep it up. You see, brother, a lot of you brothers, y'all want to go take a woman to a 5-star restaurant knowing that ain't what you normally do. You could take her you could invite her to a nice restaurant, but don't start 5-star, because if you start 5-star and then you want to come down and take her to Burger King, she think she gonna be on the 5-star level. You don't do that. Be real, brother. And sister, you be real too. You be real. That's what you have to do. Be real. If you want somebody to be real, be real. Do unto others as you will want that man or woman to be unto you. Be real. When you in front of a person, my brother and sister, you Christian brother and sister, that man or woman, you ain't got to say nothing. You ain't got to keep saying Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. He or she going to know something peculiar about you. Because if you're a Christian, it's going to show that you have the presence of the Lord in you. It's going to show. You can't hide it, because guess what, brother and sister? You are the light of the world. The true light is in you. You can't be hid. Even though you might be shy and stuff like that, if the Lord is in you, brother and sister, you're going to shine. If you walk into a room, brother and sister, you're going to shine. You can't be hid. Not when the Lord is in you. You can't hide. You may try to be quiet, but people gonna notice you. It's gonna be something about you, brother and sister. When a man and woman trying to get your attention, it's gonna be something about you that they're gonna be confused, especially that if a worldly man or woman, they're gonna be confused because they used to dating other worldly men and women. They got a preset script on what to use for the other men and women, but with you, they're gonna be searching how to get to you. That's why I say you listen more than you talk, because they're gonna be accustomed to someone that just talk. And while that person talk, they devising a scheme or racket how they're going to take from that person. But when you are quiet, don't you know, my brother and sister, the Bible even said when a fool is quiet, he's kind of as wise. So all you have to do is be quiet. And when you quiet, he or she doesn't know what you're thinking about. You see, while you quiet, the Lord is speaking to you and telling you about that person. And you see, when the Lord telling you about that person, don't ignore what the Lord's saying, because the Lord going to tell you about the red flag. If there are any red flags, the Lord is going to let you know. And you ain't even got to tell that person that the Lord talking to you. Because remember, when you go on a date, brother and sister, is you, the Lord, and that man or woman. You see, that man and woman, especially of the world, they're going to just count two people. They're going to count you, brother, or you, sister, in themselves. Whereas you know that it's you, it's the Lord, and that person. And let me tell you who else is at the dinner. Angels. You see, now, brother and sister, I'm getting a little deep. You got the Lord in you. Not only do you have the Lord's Spirit in you, now you got angels standing by. That's right. You got angels and you can't see them, but they there. You never lean. You see, some people say, "What is that? What kind of card that is?" Or it ain't no discovery card. It's what kind of card that they said you never leave home without it. Some kind of card. You all know what I'm talking about. What the name of that card? American Express. You never leave home without it. When you go wherever you go, brother, you got the sister, you got the Lord, and you got angels with you too. You never alone. But I'm letting you know now what you got with you. You got company with you. But the person don't know that you got company. They just think it's an intimate date between you and him. They don't know that. They don't know. But I'm letting you know. Some of you may already know that. Utilize what the Lord gave to you. You got the Spirit of the Lord. The Lord wants you to use it. He wants you to lead. He wants you to listen. He wants you to be guided by his Spirit. If you don't, if you ignore, that's right, Satira, the American Spirit never leave home without it. But one thing you don't leave home without is the Lord Jesus in you and his angel, because you have guarding your angels, my brother and sister. Some of you may want to say how many. I don't know. But the Bible said they encamp around you. Angels, I don't want to scare none of you all, so y'all won't go to sleep and not y'all looking for an angel. But they encamp around you for your protection. God got angels that help you out, brother and sister, that you don't even know about. You be thinking that some things are a coincidence, but they're not a coincidence. The Lord's Spirit be dispatching angels around you to do something. You don't even know it. But the Lord is talking to you about that man or woman. My question to you, my brother and sister, do you want to get deceived? Do you want to get bamboozled? Do you want to be used? Do you want to be abused? Do you want to be left destitute? Do you want to be left empty? Do you want to be left disappointed? Do you want to be a yo-yo? Do you want to be one of those people that he or she pick up when he or she get ready? You ignore the red flag that the Lord showed you about that person. That's where you're going to end up at. And then if you end up ignoring the red flag, you're going to go to the natural. And what is the natural? You're going to go talk to a human family member. You're going to go talk to a human friend, a human co-worker, or social media. And God telling you right at the beginning, don't do it. Even though you may like the person, I could tell you this. Once the Lord convince you not to deal with that person, let me tell you what's going to happen. As time go on, God going to bring the right person in your life. And when God bring the right person in your life, I guarantee you, because I have seen it before. When God bring the right person in your life, that man or woman that you had a little interest in, when you see him or her, or you hear about him or her, they're going to be doing the same thing. They're going to be going in a circle. They always go in circles. They're not advancing. They're not elevating. You see, when the Lord bring a man or woman in your life, my brother and sister, the right one, you're going to elevate because you got a purpose and you got a gift. And the person that God brings in your life, he or she got a purpose and a gift. So you're going to elevate. But the man or woman that you going to see, listen to what I'm saying. The man or woman that you're going to see, they're going to be going in circles. If you see them, they're going to be talking about the same thing. They're going to be doing the same thing. No elevation. None whatsoever. Just remember those things, my brother and sister. Do you really meet the real man or woman on a date? Majority of the time, you do not. Use the Lord discernment. Always do that. Bottom line, my brother and sister, is this. The bottom line. When you get into a relationship, seek that inner voice of the Lord, spirit of discernment. When that spirit of discernment will illuminate what type of man or woman that is in your presence, so you will not get deceived, bamboozled, or hurt by getting into a relationship with someone that only wants to take from you and not give. You understand that, brother? You understand that, sister? You brothers, go ahead and take some of this good food for the soul with you and put it in the refrigerator and eat it a little later on and share with some more family member and friend. Always remember, my brother and sister, that you can avoid those pitfalls or get into a relationship with the wrong man or the wrong woman. Always remember that, my brother and sister, okay? C'est la vie. Amen.